Adam lived a quiet life in a small town where most days felt the same. His house stood at the edge of the street, with a modest yard that he cared for on his own. The yard was not special. It had patchy grass, a few stones near the fence, and a large tree that gave shade in the afternoon. Adam liked this simple space because it gave him peace after long days of work. He believed nothing unexpected could ever happen there. One morning, Adam stepped outside with a cup of water in his hand. The sun was soft, and the air felt cool. Birds rested on the fence, and the town was still half asleep. Adam planned to water the grass and then prepare for his day. As he walked slowly across the yard, something unusual caught his attention near the tree. The ground looked strange. A small area of soil seemed to rise and fall gently. It looked like a clear bubble pushing up from beneath the earth. Adam stopped walking and stared at it. His mind tried to find a simple reason. He thought it might be air trapped in wet soil or a problem with old pipes under the yard. He took a step closer. The movement did not stop. The soil shifted again, slow and steady. Adam felt his chest tighten. He had lived in this house for years and had never seen anything like this before. The grass around the spot bent slightly, and tiny cracks formed in the dirt. Adam bent down carefully. He did not touch it yet. He watched as the bubble rose once more and then slowly sank. It felt almost alive. His heart began to beat faster. He stood up and looked around, half expecting someone to be watching him, but the yard was empty. He picked up a long wooden stick that rested near the fence. Holding it firmly, he reached out and touched the moving spot. The ground pushed back gently. Adam pulled the stick away quickly and stepped back. Fear and curiosity mixed inside him. For a moment, Adam considered going back inside and forgetting what he saw. But the movement happened again, slightly stronger this time. The soil lifted higher, then dropped. Adam felt a deep sense that ignoring this would be wrong. He walked inside and grabbed his phone. His hands shook as he returned to the yard. He started recording, wanting proof of what was happening. The bubble moved again, and the camera captured it clearly. Adam spoke softly to himself, trying to stay calm. He wondered if an animal was trapped underground. The thought worried him. He knew that if it was alive, it might not survive long without help. He looked around for tools and found a small shovel leaning against the wall. Adam returned to the spot and knelt down. He pressed the shovel gently into the soil beside the bubble. The ground felt loose and damp. Adam dug slowly, removing small amounts of soil. With each scoop, the movement under the ground became clearer. The bubble did not disappear. Instead, it seemed to follow his digging, shifting slightly toward the open space. Sweat formed on Adam's forehead even though the air was cool. He stopped often to listen. At first, there was only silence. Then he heard something faint. It was not clear, but it sounded like a soft movement beneath the earth. Adam's breath caught in his throat. He leaned closer, holding still. The sound came again, weak but real. His hands trembled as he placed the shovel down and used his fingers to clear the soil carefully. As more dirt was removed, Adam noticed something unusual mixed with the soil. It looked like a piece of old cloth. It was dark and torn, pressed deep into the ground. His heart began to race faster. Adam froze. His thoughts raced. This was no animal. The cloth looked human. Fear rushed through him, but he did not stop. He cleared more soil with slow, careful movements. The ground shifted again, closer to the surface now. Adam felt a wave of shock as he realized there was a hollow space beneath his yard. The bubble he had seen was air being pushed upward from below. Suddenly, a faint sound came from beneath the ground. It sounded like a weak breath. Adam covered his mouth with his hand, struggling to understand what he was hearing. He stood up quickly, his legs feeling weak. There was no doubt now. Someone was under his yard. Someone alive. Adam looked around the quiet street. Houses stood still, unaware of what was happening. He felt fear, responsibility, and urgency all at once. He knew he could not handle this alone. He grabbed his phone and called for help, his voice shaking as he explained what he had found. As he waited, he returned to the spot and knelt again, speaking softly toward the ground, hoping the person beneath could hear him. The soil moved once more, as if responding. Adam felt tears fill his eyes. He stayed there, watching, waiting, knowing that this ordinary morning had turned into something that would change many lives, including his own. Adam stayed kneeling near the disturbed soil, his eyes fixed on the moving ground. His phone was pressed to his ear as he spoke to the emergency service, explaining everything in simple words. He described the bubble, the digging, the cloth, and the sound from beneath the earth. The person on the other end listened carefully and told him to stay calm and keep a safe distance. Adam ended the call and placed the phone in his pocket. He did not move far. He felt that leaving the spot would be wrong. The soil rose again, slower this time, as if the person below was tired. Adam spoke gently toward the ground, telling whoever was there that help was coming. Minutes felt like hours. Adam's mind filled with questions. How long had someone been under his yard? How did this happen without anyone noticing? He looked at the tree nearby and remembered the heavy rain from days earlier. The ground had been soft since then. A neighbor named Paul walked by and noticed Adam kneeling in the yard. Paul waved at first, then stopped when he saw Adam's serious face. Adam stood up and explained quickly. Paul's eyes widened in shock. He stepped closer but stopped when Adam warned him to stay back. More neighbors began to gather as word spread. People stood quietly along the fence, whispering to each other. No one wanted to disturb the ground. Everyone watched the moving soil with fear and disbelief. The bubble appeared again, smaller than before. Adam felt his heart sink. He feared the person beneath was losing strength. He spoke again, louder this time, telling them to hold on. Soon, the sound of sirens filled the air. Emergency vehicles arrived and parked along the street. Workers stepped out with equipment and serious expressions. They listened to Adam's story and looked closely at the yard. The lead worker knelt down and examined the soil. He nodded slowly and gave instructions to his team. They placed markers around the area and asked everyone to step back. Adam moved aside but kept his eyes locked on the ground. The workers began digging carefully, removing soil in small sections. They worked slowly to avoid causing further collapse. Adam watched every movement, holding his breath with each scoop. As the hole grew deeper, the space beneath became clearer. The workers found wooden boards buried under the soil. They looked old and weak. The ground had collapsed into a hidden underground space. A worker called out softly into the hole. For a moment, there was no answer. Then a faint sound came back. It was weak but clear enough to give hope. Everyone standing nearby felt a wave of relief. The workers spoke calmly, telling the person below that help was there. They continued digging, placing supports along the sides to keep the soil stable. Adam stood with his hands clenched, silently praying. After some time, the workers cleared enough space to see inside. A narrow underground shelter was revealed. Inside, a man lay trapped, covered in dirt. His face was pale, and his movements were slow. The workers carefully reached down and checked his condition. He was alive but very weak. They spoke to him gently, asking his name and telling him to stay awake. Adam felt his legs tremble. He leaned against the fence to stay standing. Tears filled his eyes as the reality set in. The bubble he had seen was the trapped man pushing upward, hoping someone would notice. The workers worked together to lift the man out. They moved slowly and carefully, supporting his body. When the man reached the surface, people around the yard fell silent. The man took a deep breath of fresh air. His eyes opened wider as he looked around, confused but relieved. He whispered thanks in a weak voice. Adam felt a strong wave of emotion wash over him. The man was placed on a stretcher and given care immediately. Workers covered him with a warm blanket and checked his breathing. An ambulance stood ready nearby. Adam stepped closer, keeping a safe distance. He saw the man's face clearly now. He looked tired but grateful. Their eyes met for a brief moment, and Adam nodded gently. The workers asked Adam more questions. He explained everything again, from the moment he stepped into the yard to the sound he heard underground. They listened carefully and took notes. The trapped man was placed into the ambulance. As the doors closed, Adam felt both relief and exhaustion. His quiet yard had become the center of something serious and life-changing. The neighbors slowly began to leave, still talking in low voices. The street that was once silent now felt heavy with emotion. Adam stood alone in his yard, staring at the broken ground. He knew this was not the end of the story. Questions remained, and the town would talk about this for a long time. Adam felt changed. He realized how close life and danger can exist beneath ordinary places. As the emergency vehicles drove away, Adam took a deep breath. He looked at the disturbed soil one last time. What began as a strange bubble had revealed a hidden struggle and a life saved because he chose to look closer. The yard stayed quiet after the emergency vehicles left. The hole in the ground was covered with temporary boards, and warning tape stretched across the area. Adam stood near the fence for a long time, staring at the place where everything had happened. The morning felt far away now, like it belonged to another life. Later that day, Adam sat inside his house with a cup of tea that had grown cold. His hands still felt shaky. He kept replaying the moment he saw the ground move. Each time he closed his eyes, he saw the soil rising and falling. He wondered what would have happened if he had been late for work or stayed inside longer. News spread fast through the town. By evening, people were talking about the man found under Adam's yard. Some shared guesses, others shared fear. Many came by to check on Adam. They knocked softly and spoke with care. Adam answered kindly, but kept his words short. He felt tired in a way he had never felt before. The next morning, Adam received a call from the local office. They asked him to come in to answer a few questions. He agreed and arrived later that day. The room was small and plain. A few workers listened as Adam explained everything again, from the first moment he noticed the ground to the rescue. They told him the man's name was Noah. He had been working alone on an old underground space that once belonged to a past owner. Heavy rain had weakened the soil, causing part of the ground to collapse and trap him inside. Noah had been pushing upward for days, using all his strength to move the soil. Adam felt a tight feeling in his chest when he heard this. He imagined Noah alone in the dark, waiting and hoping. The workers told Adam that Noah was recovering and that his condition was improving slowly. When Adam left the office, he walked through town with new eyes. The streets looked the same, but he felt different. Every building, every yard, every quiet corner seemed to hide stories beneath the surface. A few days later, Adam was invited to visit Noah. He felt nervous but knew he needed to go. The care center was calm and clean. Adam walked slowly down the hallway until a worker guided him to a small room. Noah lay resting, his face still pale but stronger than before. When he saw Adam, his eyes filled with emotion. He tried to sit up, but Adam gently told him to rest. They spoke quietly. Noah thanked Adam again and again. He said that every time he pushed the soil upward, he feared no one would notice. He had nearly lost hope. Adam listened in silence, feeling both relief and sadness. Adam told Noah that he almost ignored the movement at first. The words felt heavy. Noah smiled weakly and said that noticing small things had saved his life. That sentence stayed with Adam. After the visit, Adam returned home and stood in his yard. Workers had begun planning repairs. The grass was damaged, the soil uneven, and the tree roots exposed. Adam did not mind. The yard no longer felt like just land. It felt like a place where a life had been saved. Neighbors continued to stop by. Some brought food, others brought kind words. Children asked questions with wide eyes. Adam answered gently, choosing simple words. He did not want fear to grow in their minds. At night, Adam struggled to sleep. His dreams were filled with dark spaces and soft sounds beneath the ground. He would wake up and listen to the quiet house, reminding himself that the danger had passed. One evening, Adam sat on his porch and watched the sunset. The sky turned warm and calm. He felt a deep sense of gratitude. Life had given him a moment to act, and he had listened. Days passed, and the story began to settle. The town returned to its routines, but something had changed. People spoke more to each other. They checked on neighbors more often. The quiet street felt closer, more connected. Adam started paying attention to small details everywhere. A loose board, a strange sound, a sudden movement. He realized how easy it is to overlook signs when life feels ordinary. He received a message from Noah a week later. It was short but full of meaning. Noah said he would never forget what Adam did. Adam read it several times, feeling a quiet warmth inside. As repairs continued in the yard, Adam helped when he could. He worked with care, treating the ground with respect. He felt a strange bond with the place, as if it had spoken to him and trusted him to listen. One afternoon, Adam stood by the fence and watched children play down the street. Their laughter filled the air. He thought about how close everything had come to a different ending. The thought made him hold onto the present moment even tighter. Adam understood now that life does not always announce big moments loudly. Sometimes, it whispers from beneath the surface. And sometimes, all it takes to change everything is one person willing to stop, look, and listen. Time moved forward, and the yard slowly returned to shape. Workers filled the ground, packed the soil, and prepared the area for fresh grass. Adam watched each step with care. He felt a deep respect for the ground now. It no longer felt silent or empty to him. The town continued to talk about the event, but the tone changed. At first, there had been shock and fear. Now, there was learning and awareness. People began checking old spaces, sheds, and basements. Conversations about safety became common. Adam noticed neighbors stopping more often to greet each other. Small talks turned into longer conversations. The street felt warmer and more alive. Adam had never been someone who spoke much, but now he listened more, and that felt important. One afternoon, Adam received another visit from Noah. He walked slowly into the yard, supported by a cane. His steps were careful, but his face showed strength. Adam was surprised and moved by the visit. Noah stood quietly for a moment, looking at the ground. He placed his hand over his chest and took a deep breath. He said this place would always be part of his life. Adam nodded, understanding without many words. They sat together on the porch and talked. Noah shared how the underground space had once been used long ago. It was meant for storage, not for work. Over time, it was forgotten. The soil weakened without care. Adam listened closely. He realized how history can hide beneath ordinary places. The land held memories that no one remembered until something happened. Noah thanked Adam again. He said that during the dark moments underground, he had spoken out loud, hoping the earth would carry his voice. Adam felt a chill hearing that. He understood that the bubble had been a message, not just movement. After Noah left, Adam felt a quiet sense of purpose. He decided to learn more about his home and the land around it. He visited local records and asked simple questions. He wanted to understand what lay beneath familiar places. Adam discovered that many houses in the area were built over old structures. Some were filled in, others forgotten. The town had grown without always remembering its past. He shared what he learned with neighbors. People listened with interest. Some were surprised, others thoughtful. The event had opened their eyes to the unseen layers of their community. As weeks passed, the yard grew green again. New grass covered the soil. The tree near the fence stood tall, its roots safe and supported. From the outside, nothing looked unusual. Yet Adam knew the truth. He felt a strong bond with the place. He treated the yard gently, avoiding heavy tools and careless steps. He believed that respect mattered. One evening, Adam stood outside as rain began to fall. He watched the water soak into the ground. Instead of fear, he felt calm. He trusted that the land would speak again if needed. The town held a small gathering to thank the workers who helped in the rescue. Adam stood quietly in the back. When someone called him forward, he felt uncomfortable. He did not feel like a hero. Adam spoke only a few words. He said that anyone could have noticed the movement. He said listening was the real act. People nodded, understanding the message. After the gathering, Adam walked home under a dark sky filled with stars. He felt peace. The world felt larger and smaller at the same time. At home, Adam wrote down his thoughts in a small notebook. He wrote about paying attention, about signs, and about kindness. He did not plan to share it. It was for himself. His sleep slowly improved. The dreams became lighter. The dark spaces faded, replaced by calm moments and clear skies. Adam felt stronger each day. Neighbors continued to check on Noah as he recovered. He returned to work slowly, choosing safer tasks. He often waved at Adam when passing by. Adam understood now that life connects people in quiet ways. A small movement in the ground had created bonds that would last for years. As the seasons changed, Adam carried the lesson with him. The ground beneath his feet no longer felt distant. It felt alive with stories. He knew that part of his life would always be shaped by that morning. Not because of fear, but because of awareness. The world speaks softly, and those who listen can make a difference. Life slowly returned to a steady rhythm for Adam. The excitement and worry that once filled the street faded into calm routines. Mornings became quiet again, with soft light touching the yard and gentle sounds of the town waking up. From the outside, everything seemed normal. But inside Adam, something had changed forever. Adam continued caring for his yard with more attention than before. He checked the soil, watched how water moved across the ground, and noticed how plants responded to small changes. Each task felt meaningful. The land was no longer just a place. It felt like a partner that deserved care and respect. Noah recovered well over time. He visited often, sometimes just to sit and talk. Their conversations were simple but deep. They spoke about life, about how small moments can change everything, and about how listening can save more than time. A quiet friendship grew between them. The town also carried the lesson forward. People paid more attention to old spaces and shared stories of places they once ignored. The community felt closer, as if the ground beneath them had reminded everyone to stay connected. Adam began helping others when he could. He offered time, tools, or just a listening ear. He did not seek praise. He understood now that doing good does not need attention. It only needs care. One afternoon, a child from the neighborhood asked Adam why he always checked the ground when walking. Adam smiled and said that the earth sometimes whispers, and it is important to listen. The child nodded seriously, holding on to those words. Seasons passed, and the yard changed colors. Green turned to gold, then to brown, and back to green again. Each change reminded Adam of how life moves in cycles. Nothing stays the same, yet everything carries memory. Adam often stood near the spot where the bubble once appeared. He felt no fear. Instead, he felt gratitude. That place had given him a lesson that books and words never could. The story of the moving ground became part of town history. People shared it with visitors and newcomers. It was not told as a tale of fear, but as a reminder of awareness and kindness. Adam returned to his simple routines. He worked, rested, and enjoyed quiet evenings. Yet he noticed joy in small details he once overlooked. A change in light, a sound in the distance, or a sudden stillness all held meaning. One evening, Adam and Noah sat together watching the sunset. The sky was painted with soft colors. Neither spoke much. They did not need to. Silence felt full, not empty. Adam realized that the most powerful moments in life often arrive quietly. They do not announce themselves. They ask for attention, patience, and care. As years passed, Adam grew older, but the lesson stayed fresh. He shared it gently with those who needed it. He never forced the story. He waited until someone was ready to hear. The yard remained a symbol for Adam. It reminded him that beneath ordinary surfaces lie hidden truths. Paying attention can bring light to places long forgotten. Adam lived the rest of his life with awareness and calm. He walked with care and listened deeply. He understood that even the smallest signs can hold great meaning. In the end, the moving bubble was not just a strange moment. It was a call to notice, to act, and to care. Adam answered that call, and because of it, lives were changed. The earth stayed quiet again, but Adam knew it would always speak to those willing to listen.